Hello guys, welcome to another edition of His World where we discuss about football and other related topic. In today's video, we're talking about a match uh, review between Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. This is actually a London derby, and anything that has to do with derby match is usually more intense than the normal regular EPL matches because in the derby you will see, especially the home fans, they will want to come in their number just to see how they can be able to rally around their team to make sure that their team come out on top. And this was a wonderful contest between Crystal Palace versus Arsenal United. It was actually a real derby. Now, before we talked about the match talking point and the lineup, I want you to actually like the video, share, and subscribe, and also click the bell notification. And I want to say a very big, massive thank you to those who have actually subscribed. I'm super grateful. I'm super grateful. Indeed, that's actually one of the ways you can be able to encourage me to be able to do more and give you my updates. And also sorry that this video is coming late. I was actually thinking I would have been able to do this video on time, but due to work schedule, I was so shocked up today. But because of the love I had for you, I have to still say I can be able to squeeze that time and be able to give you my own opinion with respect to this match. Now let's talk about the lineup that both teams use. Crystal Palace, John Stone was the goalkeeper, Mitchell, who had a fantastic game, Gueye, Henderson, and Ward, their captain. This was the four defensive man setup that Roy Hodgson used in the game, and Doucouré, Laman, Shops, Eze, Hayu, and Edouard. This is actually the lineup that Crystal Palace used in the course of the game. Now let's talk about that of Arsenal. Ramsdale was in between the posts. Tomiyasu, Saliba, White, Partey, Harvard, Rice, Odega, Martinelli, Nketiah, and Saka, which was a wonderful setup by Mikel Arteta. Now let's talk about the match talking point in the course of this review. Now, if you looked at the first half, Arsenal had a lot of chances, especially with respect to Nketiah. Nketiah was able to find some pocket of space in between the Crystal Palace defensive setting, and by default, Arsenal was so unlucky in the course of the first half not to be at least minimum 2 goals ahead. But Nketiah was so wasteful in front of goal. Even the second chance he had, whereby he was beautifully set up by Odega, and it was close to the post. Keeper rushing. What I was expecting a clinical striker to do is that look for the best possible option that is available, and it is expected that as keeper is rushing, there's every high tendency that in between his leg will be open. So the best thing I was expecting him to do was to find the space in between his leg and just slot the ball, but he was trying to dink it, and you don't try to dink a ball when you're so close to the goal post, because in the process of you trying to dink it, there's every high tendency that you actually shoot it over the bar, and that's actually what happened. And they were so unfortunate that those chances didn't later come back to bite them. And in the course of the second half, yes, there was actually a moment of genius from that Arsenal free kick that they had, and what a lovely penalty by Odega in the 53rd minute. Arsenal had one goal ahead, because in a moment like this, you see the brilliance of players that are well drilled. And if you looked at this Arsenal team, they finally picked up from where they stopped last season. Because last season, yes, experience was actually the catalyst that made them not to win the EPL last season. But I think in the course of this season, Arsenal is the team to watch. Everybody should actually look out for Arsenal, because you never can tell. That experience that they had last season may be vital in the course of this season. They are actually one team that I can see among every other team that is available that will give Man City a run for the title. Yes, based on statistics, the season is actually for Man City to lose, but Arsenal is actually going to give them a very big push, because this kind of a game that Arsenal had with Crystal Palace, this is actually the kind of match that a title-winning team they put up. And don't be surprised, this very particular game whereby Arsenal won the game 1-0 be very, very vital in the course of the Premier League. Now, let's talk about the moment that actually changed the complexity of the game. Now, every of this Premier League team, the players, they've already be told that, yes, referee are not going to take it lightly when it comes to time wasting. And that of the Tomiyasu, the first yellow card he had, it was so unfortunate because the culprit of that very particular scene was Harvard. Harvard collected the ball thinking that, yes, he knew very well he's not going to throw the ball, and he wasted a lot of time. By the time Tomiyasu gets to the ball, he has not even waste any time, but because of their volume of time that Harvard has wasted, end up affecting him. Hence, he got the first yellow card, and the second yellow card was actually a moment of genius from Hayu. He knew definitely that Tomiyasu is actually at his back, so the first thing he needs to do is actually to do a dummy run, and he knew definitely that Tomiyasu will hold him, and the moment Tomiyasu just wrapped his hand over him, he fell down. That was very, very soft, but based on the Premier League rule, that is a yellow card, and because he has actually picked a yellow card that by default is not supposed to end up getting a red card, and that changed the complexity of the game. And one thing that I don't really understand some managers in doing is that, yes, it is more difficult to play with one man down than when you're playing 11-11. Because if you're playing with the complete team, yes, the team will want to go with the structure that is set up. But for the fact that they are playing with one man down, the tendency for them to sit defensively will creep in. Now, what they do is that they will completely close the middle to force them to side. And when you're being forced to side, remember Arsenal had tall defenders, so anybody they are crossing, it becomes a bread and butter for Arsenal defenders to hit them. And Martinelli was sacrificed for Gabriel to come into the game so that they can play 30-man defense, and Arsenal just shook the boss. Yes, there are times whereby you win in a stylish way, and there are times whereby you just have to win dirty. All that is important is the 3 points, and Arsenal were able to conserve and compact themselves just to make sure that there's no penetration. And when I saw the way the game is going, I knew definitely that Arsenal is going to pick the 3 points, because there was no room to make any form of mistake for Arsenal. And Arsenal, Manchester City, and Brighton, these are the teams that has 100% win record in the course of this Premier League game, and that was a very, very fantastic one for Arsenal. I believe that in the course of their next game, they should be able to, yes, it will affect them with that of Tomiyasu, but I believe that Mikel Arteta is a tactical genius. He will be able to find a way just to cover up in that left back part he played for the right back. I believe he will look for a way to deputize for that of the left back from the course of their preparation in the course of this game. So, Arsenal fans, I want you to drop your comment to tell me if you are actually pleased in the course of the game, and which area did you think your team should be able to improve, and tell me who do you think is actually the man of the match for you in the course of this game. Because if you ask me, my man of the match is actually Hodega. He's a fantastic creative footballer, and I love the way Arsenal, they were able to look for those pockets of space and beat Crystal Palace in the course of their press, and that was actually a very good one. I say thumbs up for Arsenal for putting up that dogged performance just to make sure that they salvage that 3 points. Come on, let's go.